Honestly, there's nothing we are not going to be hearing in this country. This issue between the minister of NDDC, Akpabio, and the former acting managing director of Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Joy Nuneh, is taking a different uh, whatever entirely. It's taking a different direction entirely, because I believe that today they are supposed to go to Senate to go and defend all that they have said. And from what we are getting, police officers are currently laying siege on the Port Harcourt residence of former acting managing director of Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Joy Nuneh. This was revealed by investigative journalist Fisayo Shoyombo in a tweet on Thursday morning. In his words, dozens of policemen are circling the house of Joy Nuneh, the former MD of NDDC, which is scheduled to testify before a House of Reps panel today as part of the ongoing probe on NDDC. Shoyombo said the policemen arrived at Nuneh's residence at 3 Owuru Creek View off Abat Macaulay Street, Old GRA, Port Harcourt at about 4 a.m. Their presence means she cannot leave for the Port Harcourt International Airport, where she should be connecting a flight to Abuja. Nuneh recently accused Niger Delta Godswill Akpabio of trying to come up on her after failing to bribe her and convince her to take an oath of secrecy in Abuja. Nuneh also alleged that Akpabio attempted to inflate the NDDC budget during her reign as managing director. Nuneh disclosed that Akpabio ordered her to include some projects from the Refugee Commission in the budget of NDDC. She said Akpabio wrote me to put a list of projects from the Refugee Commission in the budget of NDDC. Refugee Commission is another federal government commission for IDPs. How do you tell me to put some of their projects in the NDDC budget when we have so many things to do in the Niger Delta? How do you explain that? Nuneh had accused Akpabio of removing her from office because she refused to do his alleged fraudulent bidding. Reacting, the minister claimed that the former NDDC boss had character problem. Okay, I don't know whether these policemen are from the government, from the state government or from the federal government, because whichever way, are they there for her protection or they are there to intimidate her or to threaten her? Because I see no reason why they would go there as early as that time. All this why? Because today is supposed to be the day of defense, to go and defend what they have said, all the allegations against each other. So why would they go there now? Because if really they wanted to protect her, they would have sent her message. But from what we are getting from the filler, it seems that they are surrounding her place, her residence, for her not to leave. And what does that tell one? Of course, the woman said a lot of things, apart from all this one that we are even talking about or we are hearing, because I listened to her on Channels television when she was saying all manner of things, that as far as bombing the pipeline, that this man has hand in it, that Akpabio has hand in it. And all of a sudden, while she was giving that interview, some group of people just came, started to stop her. That don't say that, don't say that. If not for the help of the people that were with her, they wanted to intimidate her. But even at that, she spoke a lot. She said a lot of things, and she said she's going to defend it. But all Akpabio could come up with, I didn't do that. Oh, the woman has character issue. Nobody's interested in that. We are talking about what concerns many Nigerians. Many Nigerians are affected in one way or the other. Come to think of it, even the Niger Delta have not seen any development. For how long? And the worst part of it is that the people are not saying anything. The masses in that area, in that region, they are not saying anything apart from all this Avenger, all this Niger Delta militants. Once those ones are settled, then the rest people will be bound to the Philistines. And me, I'm of the opinion, even these people that they are calling a Niger militant data, are they representing every family or everybody in Niger Delta? Because it's just like selecting few individuals and just settle them. And because those are the ones, those are the Egbe wagers that can do this, that can threaten the federal government. What about the everyday person in Niger Delta? I don't just understand. And that is why you see that majority of people are not even saying anything. It's just like the Niger Delta is just for the militants. That's all. If they are settled, that is the end of the whole thing. And with this NDDC, the so-called people who are in charge of this NDDC, they've always been people from Niger Delta, and a lot of money have been going into that thing. People just share it. It was a show of shame that even this man, this Carol Ojugbo, I don't know the position that he's even holding in that NDDC. He used to be in PDP. All of a sudden, he was talking about this government, this and this and this and this and that. He said all manner of things. All of a sudden, about 2 years ago, this man just defected to APC. I just say, like, seriously? Like, seriously? Now, see what is happening to all of them. Himself is being fingered, that they are paying money to themselves. He granted interview with one Kola Wole also, and the guy said if the panel will be said that they will be invited, that is going to open kind of worms, a lot of things that they have done. The guy was talking, because I believe that guy, the Kola Wole Johnson, is on the side of the Nunieh, Joy Nunieh, and they are exposing a lot of things with records. They are quoting with number, with dates, and this other man could not say anything because Karo Jugbo is in the camp of Akpabio. So they have factions now as we speak. So it's unfortunate that this country has degenerated to the way it is. See Niger Delta, no meaningful development. No meaningful development. And these are the people who are clamoring. If those who are clamoring for restructuring, it's still the same thing, because we just have, the problem is that the case will not be, we now have principalities and powers in each region, because the same people who have been playing, who have been acting at the federal level, they will come to the region and begin to perpetuate their evil. So what are we talking about? Is it not going to be the same thing? So where do we go from here? Some people will tell you, let's everybody go their separate way. Of course, it's still going to be the same problem. But is it because of that? Then what do we do? The one Nigeria is not even favorable. Because if the one Nigeria is favorable, that everybody is being taken care of, nobody cares where the president comes from. Nobody cares. For all of these things to be avoided, if the center can do the right thing, and most importantly, what about the state governors? Because if we are even talking about it, because to me restructuring is not the issue, because we have state governors. What are they doing? Because they've been able to split all these people into smaller units. We have government, we have the state government, we have the local government chairman, we have the councillors. They don't even allow them to work. So do we even think the restructuring, if we want to look at it in the recess, do we think restructuring is going to make any difference? We have the local government chairman, we have councillors. They are not doing much. Those are the people that are supposed to be at the grassroots, that you will be feeling the government at that level. The local government will be a bigger one. Then you have already splitted it again into councillors. Those councillors, whether they call them what, but at least councillors, splitting them little by little, then you'll be able to know how many streets. Everybody will know everybody. Then you will feed government, but they will see not the corruption at the state level will not allow the local government and those councillors to function. The same thing. So what are we talking about? By the time we see segregate the whole thing into regions, then what will happen was separate them into regions that they are talking about restructuring. Is it not a bigger wala? At the end of the day, the so-called people who are clamoring, who are not getting appointments at the center, they are the ones that will occupy those regions. They will become demigods again. So see NDDC now, so that this Niger Delta regions, the Niger Delta states, they will be able to gain a lot, so that they will be able to touch the lives of those in Niger Delta, because they believe that what is coming from the federal government might not trickle down to them. Now they've carved that. We still have state governors in all those regions. They are taking care of those. They see what they are doing. Then NDDC is there, yet we cannot see any meaningful development. Some people are just there sharing the money to themselves, sharing the money up and down, and that is where this problem is coming from. So we don't even know what this whole thing is going to turn out to. Meanwhile, don't forget that Wike has already issued warning to Akpabio that nothing should happen to this woman and the rest of them, and see what is happening, as if he knew. But I hope these policemen are from the are to our own advantage, whether they are trying to protect her, I don't know. But today is the day he's supposed to go for the defense. Then why surrounding her house? But I believe that this should be to our own favor. This woman has raised damning allegations against the minister, and she's to testify in the Senate today. Why should she be? Why should we not be allowed to live for Abuja. I think the police is acting on a very strong and powerful order. Police and judiciary are the main clog in the wheel of the progress of Nigeria. Someone says here that this is the first part of the story. Please expect the second part, which is fast loading. Where did she get money for that mansion as a sense? Very unfair, but as it is there it is. If there's any fairness in this country, corrupt outing, God have mercy. They don't prevent her from testifying in Abuja. Why send police officer to stop her from connecting a flight from Port Harcourt to Abuja? So guys, let us hear your opinion concerning this. Thank you.